Today on Toy Geeks, we're going to talk about that Transformers M.A.S.K crossover, as well as share some more clips from our interview with Nate Baertsch, and we're going to share our latest toy hauls. All that and more today on Toy Geeks. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toy Geeks. My name is Jay, and with me, as always, is John. John, how you doing, sir?
I am fantastic. How are you, Jay?
I am doing well. It is a Sunday. We had kind of a surprise episode of Toy Geeks in the middle of the week last week. Had a great time chatting with Nate Baertsch. That was my first time talking with you, and you kind of met him at PowerCon, right? Before?
Yep. Super nice guy.
Way nice. Like I think I said it maybe it was in the video, maybe it was afterwards when we're kind of just following up with him, but yeah, just really, really kind dude that obviously loves toys, loves what he gets to do. And I think it shows, but also just really cool how he was able to take the time and talk to us and really kind of take us through his process and everything. It was really neat.
Yeah. And he seems like the type he could have talked for another 2 hours as us as well.
Yeah, we could have kept going. We definitely could have kept going. But I think I joked with him at the beginning, is just leave him wanting more, we'll try to keep it to an hour here on the show. To leave people wanting more, but also to keep our sanity intact, because this is an hour out of everyone's night, you watching as well as us doing it. So we have spouses.
Is that the plural?
I think it's spousei. So we do try to be respectful of everybody's time. But yeah, no, it was a great time talking with Nate, and oh man, just getting to, he was so kind to share the artwork, his proof of the artwork. And if you thought you loved it on that box art that they shared, once you see, because all the top of this, all this starry field, the actual space and the stars and everything, that's kind of on the top of the wraparound of the box, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So it was great getting to chat with him about that. So if you haven't seen it yet, to make sure that the images were as crisp and whatever as possible, and being able to make it 4K, live streaming it just would not be able to translate that level of quality. So made it its own unique episode on Geek Dad Life, so that way it would be 4K and be able to see the images, and hopefully if you have watched it, you've seen how nice and crisp that came across. And again, thank you, Nate, for sharing really high res versions of those images so that could play off that way. So that was roughly 30 minutes edited down, mostly just talking about the Motu Origins Castle Grayskull and the work that him, Axel, and Roy put into it. But there's still about over an hour of that conversation. So we're going to play a little bit more at some, probably after we do toy hauls today. And then if you do want to hear the whole interview, so it's an hour and 7 minutes, I posted that up middle of the week on our podcast feed. So if you want to search on iTunes or whatever, I guess it's not, iTunes doesn't exist anymore, but Apple Podcasts, search Toy Geeks. That's episode 18, and that's the full interview. So you can hear the whole thing, not just Origins, but also his involvement in other Grayskull projects. We're going to share some of his stories with the Four Horsemen and more. And it's funny, even after we hit stop on the record button, we talked to him more and dug into some other things and projects he's working on. And so yeah, always cool to be able to talk with. I think I even said it there, but it's great when people that are making the stuff we love it as much as we do, and it's not just a job, That's
right. Yeah. It all shows.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of which, how's your project going that both of you and Nate committed to, focus?
I know. Nothing yet, but it's only been a few days, That's, even Nate had said, you gotta really enjoy doing it at the time.
Yeah.
To get into it.
Yep. And for those that don't know, I'm not going to spoil anything on John's part, but he is a sculptor, a toy sculptor. You've made and worked on projects before. You do have one project that I think is really cool, that a few people that are privy to it think it's really cool. Excited for the day when you get to finally show that stuff off, because
me too.
That's pretty cool. I know that's really vague, and everyone's like, "What? Like, why are you even talking about this?" But I'm trying to do it to pressure John to get to work. But again, not too much pressure, because it has to come from the heart. Blah 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 blah. But just know.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there are days like when Nate was talking about, once you start into the work and you really don't even want to stop.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's check the chat. We've been rambling for a minute now. So let's see here. We got Fets dropping the lost numbers for 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Enter, execute. PD Dubs, heyo.
What's up, PD?
House. And I'm scanning here. I don't know where Old School Shinobi ran off to, but we've missed you, Old School. I haven't seen you in a minute. Mariano Chacon, hello. Danny R, we want M.A.S.K. The news was kind of surprising this week on that. Excited to dig into that a little bit. Luis Rivera, good evening, guys. Hello, Luis.
What's up, Luis?
Luis, I saw you sent a message, I think an audio message on my Facebook page, but I was putting the kids to bed, and I actually haven't got a chance to go back to that. So if it's something really important, just say you need to go listen to it, or if I can listen to it after the show, that'd be good. Brad Brooks, hello, welcome. Let's see. PD Dubs picked up 2 PCS G.I. Joe statues this weekend: Storm, Shadow, and Cobra Commander. It's amazing. PD Dubs went from no Joes, right? And now he's like a full-on Joe Pro. That's what they call it.
Diving into pop culture.
Yeah, exactly. And those guys, aren't they in North Carolina?
Yep, they're down by Charlotte.
Yeah, we met one of the guys that works.
Yeah, we met a sculptor.
Yeah,
at Oak City. Yep.
Was it our show?
No, it was Oak City.
Was it Oak City?
Okay. Raleigh, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's right. That was that. We're trying to get him to come to our show. Let's see. It would be nice to see M.A.S.K come back. It needs an updated cartoon. Agreed. KJ Smith, sup peeps? Hey,
What's
KJ. Up? Master Hoarder, good to see you again. Evening, everyone. Todd Smith, this is quick, but my favorite toy channel. Todd, thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
It's very kind. It's very kind to say. It's very humbling, because John and I are just 2 geeks. Nobody should really enjoy our show that much. Kidding. Mariano, John, can you tell us about any past work? Yeah, what has been made public? Has it been your motif?
Yeah, my Masters of the Universe Classics customs. I had made a custom slime pit playset in scale with the Masters of the Universe Classics. And I handmade all of those, casted and mold everything. Those have been sold all over the world. And then I did a classic scale Road Ripper as well. Same idea, made all the mold, casting, everything myself. Those are sold all over the world. I have not made any of those because it's tons of work. But yeah, that's as far as that went. I did actually start doing a Roton. And then I had a friend who is a friend of someone at the Four Horsemen Studios when I found out that they were making a Roton already. So that just got scrapped completely. And then I started a Land Shark, and that actually got really far. But then I just kind of lost interest. The cost of making that thing was going to be way too expensive. And that was sort of before, a lot of people were getting 3D printers at home. So now a lot of stuff is just cheaper to make if you can do ZBrush and get a printer yourself.
We're getting a bad echo from you. You sound fine to me. Interesting. Mariana says you have an echo, and Jay says you have an echo, and you have headphones in, so it shouldn't be picking up anything. Weird. Very weird.
I can unplug the mic and plug it back in.
Maybe. We'll keep playing with that. Let's see. PD Dubs, it's an addiction. Yes, it is, PD. Absolutely. Luis, I understand, bro. Not urgent, just an idea. Okay, cool. I will listen to it and I will get back to you. I promise. All right, let's try it again, John. Let's see. Bad echo, good echo. You're still muted. I think you have to unmute. I'll unmute you. Oh, I can't unmute. You have to do it. Oh, the mic isn't connected. I think it's not picking it up. Oh, hello?
Hello?
Hello, hello. How about now?
I can hear my own echo.
You can?
Yeah.
Weird. I'm not hearing any echo. Maybe it's me. Here, I'll mute and you talk.
Okay. If anybody can comment if they can hear me with an echo anymore, because that's the only way we can hear. Check right now if I have an echo. If somebody can comment. Can you hear me right now, Jay? Do you hear any echo? That's weird. Huh. Everybody said better.
All right, now I'm going to unmute. Now
Okay.
talk.
How about now? Anybody? If anybody can let us know. Everybody? Huh?
Maybe there's like a weird feedback loop. Okay. All right, we're gonna move forward then. That's weird.
Try it again.
I don't know.
First time for everything.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, your work. So yes.
Oh yeah.
You do really cool stuff, and yeah. Whenever this current thing that you work on, once you get the creative juices flowing to finish it, I think it's gonna be really dope. Really dope. All right, John, you ready to get into our latest toy hauls? Do you want me to go first? Because, you know, as we're getting ready to go live, you're just like, I got a little surprise. So I feel like we should close with, or that'll be the last thing, maybe.
Yeah.
So for me, and I think I got the Hasbro Pulse Lewis toy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not new. I have filmed like all the 4K footage to make a review on this. But I haven't done it yet because this set kind of ticked me off. And I'm trying to think of the right way to present my feelings on that without sounding too cranky. That's where I'm at with that. But in short, I really like this figure, but the Pterodog ticks me off and the price ticks me off. But so I'm trying to think of the right way to contextualize that and present it. Another thing that came, and I think I've mentioned it on the show before, is my first Super 7 TMNT Ultimates. The first wave did come in from Big Bad Toy Store. And I have been working, or I was shooting footage, or it took me a while to finally shoot footage, finally open them, which I finally opened them last night. But then my storage medium crapped out. I mean, I lost half of all that footage that I shot. So now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to like put that together to put a review. But now that I've opened them and have them in hand, I am in love with these figures. Like, they are just really freaking cool. Like just the
wow,
and again, probably Raph is the most boring one, but he looks great. And let's see, the foot soldier looks awesome. The articulation's great. But you know, and I had the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Baxter, but now that I have like the toy colorways, like he's just so cool. Like in hand, these things are awesome. Like I am, and it's kind of funny, you know, in box, I was kind of, I don't really like the packaging that much. But now that I have them at, you know, in hand, like I really dig these figures. I think they're really good. And again, just the paint detail and the colors just really pop. And if you've been on the fence on this line, and again, wave 1 is probably the tamest wave out of all of them. And it's going to start really hitting soon, because I think wave 2 is Mutagen Man. Wave 3 has Rocksteady, which he looks huge.
He does look huge.
And the fourth wave has Muckman, which looks incredible. Which we did talk to, and that'll be actually in part of the footage that we share with Nate Baertsch.
What's the height difference with like a foot and Raph next to each other?
Like, and it's properly scaled. So the one thing I was worried about was like, I don't know if a 7-inch turtle works because the turtles are kind of short. They're probably about 4 foot tall, you know? So yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
That looks awesome.
The turtles are the shortest figures, or at least if they're all similarly scaled to Ralph. So the scaling is right. And if there was, to your point, like a big concern I had, especially when I had the Baxter Stockman, the Comic-Con exclusive, is, you know, he's a meaty figure. This is a pretty meaty figure. I was like, I don't know if I want a turtle that big, you know, because turtles are short. But again, just scaled, you know, they're scaled appropriately. So unlike maybe the Masters line where they were all kind of the same height because they were using similar tooling, there's a few that were different sizes. There's a lot more diversity in size and scale on the TMNT Ultimates line, where, you know, this is like your standard Turtles figure, which again is probably your smallest figure. And then you have one like this Baxter Stockman, which, you know, the original figure is very squatty. But this one can stand up more upright, and it's with the wings and everything. It's a really impressive figure, with the articulating arms and everything. Like, it's just, and they come with a crap ton of accessories, just an unreal amount of accessories. The Splinter comes with a working bow.
Oh, wow.
So like I can, you know, take the arrow that it comes with and really shoot it. I don't know if I caught that on camera, but, you know, and there's some of it comes with their classic stuff, but then like, and then each one also comes with all the weapons on, you know, an old school weapons rack, a tree, which is really neat.
Have you tried taking any off yet?
No, because again, they all come with like more detailed versions of the weapons. So I think I'm just gonna leave them on there like that, and that's how, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. To me, it's kind of like, it's a neat thing, but I guess I don't really need it. But yeah, then Splinter has a little cup of tea with the steam coming off of it. And then he also comes with, you know, a baby turtle. So yeah, things I don't like, price are really expensive. It's like $45 a figure.
Yeah.
And then the packaging is really boring, and kind of big and clunky. But the figures themselves, once you open them up, if anybody's had any hesitations, I think these things are awesome. And look for, you know, a 4K kind of more in-depth review of the first wave coming to the channel soon. So be on the lookout for that. But if I was kind of on the fence a little bit, even though I pre-ordered like all of them so far, now that I have them in hand, like, I absolutely love them. I really do. And the thing that really kind of bugged me, the last thing I want to touch on, was the normal figurehead sculpt. I dropped it. Whoops. That's way back under here. Anyway, so the figure bait, or the one that looks like it's from the original action figure, it doesn't really translate that well to me on the actual turtle head, where I would have probably preferred maybe the more vintage toy one to be on there. Like how I like Masters, like I thought the vintage ones were always usually I would go vintage. But in this case, the kind of the more detailed sculpted head, or maybe more modern sculpted head from the Four Horsemen, is immensely better than the vintage toy head, which honestly almost a like for like recreation, which if that's what people want. And again, I love the vintage figures. The first wave turtles, soft head turtles, are my favorite of all time. So that's what's a little weird, is where I really like I don't know what you think, John, or maybe you had to see it in hand.
I do kind of like the head that you have on it a little better. It's the Horseman's, you know, just a little spin on the vintage look. You know, it's just enough.
Exactly. And I think that's where this was almost too much like the vintage, where at least with Motu Classics, they very rarely it was like a straight up vintage head. Like, it was kind of an updated retelling. So I dig this head better, even though I don't know if I could absolutely consider it a updated version of the vintage one, but I do really dig it. So if any, and they're put in the box with the vintage head on. So if anybody's had any trepidations based on that, I do really like the second head that it comes with. So
is the shade of green a little bit different between the heads?
Maybe I think this might be the camera angle, but
okay. The vintage style almost looks a little bit darker,
and it may just have a little bit more wash on it. That's a good point. And Raph was always the lightest colored turtle, if I remember. But anyway, so there you go. TMNT Ultimates. Absolutely, I am in on that train, especially with some of the big bad monsters they have coming up. And it's kind of neat just because like all the waves have like a turtle, another good guy, a more normal looking bad guy, and like a beast or a monster. And that's what they've been doing every wave, which is it gives you a lot of diversity and value in each pack, which is cool.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Go into the chat, and then we'll go to yours. Let's see. Jay Gross, oh my God, they're so good. I agree. Knife at TMNT line is awesome. I agree. Super 7 or NECA. For me, yeah, I got some of the NECA animated ones, and I love the movie NECA line. But no, I'm perfectly fine with the Super 7 one. That's my jam. That's my jam. Super 7 stuff are great. PD Dubs, can't wait for Muckman. Agreed. The Muckman looks incredible. Casey Jones looks super awesome. Todd Smith, would love to see your interview. Brian from Super 7, your Toy Guru interview was great. Thank you, Todd. Yeah,
Thank you.
Have Brian on. I'm sure we could get him on. We have friends of Brian, so
yeah,
we pull that off.
It's good. It's a possibility.
They're going super quick too. Yeah, like again, with each wave having 4. Now, while they aren't having the same amount of figures each year that Masters of the Universe Classics did, when they do hit, getting 4 at once versus like 1 a month, does hit differently. It makes it a different experience. I don't know if it's better or worse, but when you are opening up 4 at once, it is like a really like all just like yeah. Mariana Soy Hall, most excellent vintage collection, clone 3-pack, Quintessence Judgment. Oh, so you got all of the because I know you pre-ordered those from PulseCon, so that is good. Shogun 77 got my Totally 2-pack as well, and Logan 2-pack still waiting on my movie Deadpool from Hasbro Pulse, even though I just saw some at Target the other day. I did too. Yeah, I saw them at Target as well, and that's Hasbro Pulse, man. Come on.
It's a running theme now with every pre-order. It seems like it's showing up at retail faster.
Yep. Ross, NECA Turtles are overrated. Super 7 are way better. Yeah, it's different strokes, different folks kind of thing. I think I've got the animated Casey figure. I did get another set, and I was like, I'm not doing this. I got the animated ones at Comic-Con a few years ago. And they weren't compelling enough for me to keep them. And I think, I've heard other people say this as well. I think Toy Galaxy, because he was reviewing the vintage style Boba Fett. And I think he's either on his Instagram or the actual channel where he said the reason why he's so connected to that version of Boba Fett, because that's the one that he created his own stories with. And I think, and John and I have talked about it before as well, I think there's something about something that is more evoking the vintage figure connects more to me, because that's what I created stories with versus watching a cartoon and seeing a story. To me, there's far more of an attachment to the look of an action figure, if it is very different from maybe what we saw on the cartoon show. So for me, the Super 7 line hits it more on the point. Same way Masters of the Universe Classics hit it better than the Filmation figures, which they're cool, but I didn't get any of the Filmations one because, again, I'm far more connected to the mini comics and the figures than the cartoon. Do you feel the same way, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I did get into some of the Filmation figures at first. When I seen them, I wanted them just because, it was Mo 2.
Yeah.
But then when I did have a couple of them in hand, like Trapjaw, that's one of my favorite figures. But when I had the Filmation Trapjaw, it was just, it didn't have that connection.
Yeah.
So he found his way onto eBay.
Yep. So it is funny. There is an interesting connection there, and the same thing for Transformers too, where I would much rather prefer a Optimus Prime that transforms into the truck. It's very similar to the the vintage toy versus one that looks just like he looked like on the cartoon, which again, I love the cartoon, but to me, the true connection was like as a little kid, playing with this. So anyway, Mariano, the turtles look very good, but not into turtles enough to get them. I would like to get a cartoon accurate and super articulate Master Splinter from the 2012 TMNT cartoon. That's interesting. Like I did really dig the 2012 reboot. I thought they did a good job. And it's kind of crazy. That one went on and was very successful. And then they rebooted again for Rise of the TMNT, which nope, not that one. Wait. Or even better yet, the Rise of the TMNT line was garbage.
I didn't put myself through a second of that.
Whew, I watched, I think, the first episode because my kids like turtles, like all kids love turtles. But that one, I was like, this is trash. Ross says that's why I think I like the Super 7 better. Yeah, I agree. Tree Shake, I have a bunch of pre-orders in for Transformers and Star Wars from Dark Side Toys. They don't charge, so it's ready in stock, so it's more reservation. With many coming out months ahead, it helps. Yeah, that's why I really dig Big Bad Toy Store. That's generally what I'll go with. I've never had an issue with them before. Plus, Pile of Loot, I think, is a really helpful feature. But yeah, I think any of those ones that lets you kind of pre-order and then go later, I think is a good thing. Luis, NECA and Super 7 figures can coexist. So absolutely. Like, I don't think one is better than the other. I think it just depends what you connect to and kind of what, like, yeah, I don't think there's no wrong answer when it comes to collecting these things. I think it's just what connects to you more when you're collecting them. Now, for Real Ghostbusters, I still love that cartoon. I'll watch it, and I love the Diamond Select stuff. So I'd probably be all down for a more articulated version of the Real Ghostbusters. But the thing is I think the Real Ghostbuster toys were pretty close, avatars of the cartoon. Like, they look pretty much like them. Versus TMNT, they had the white eyes. They're far more comic looking, very different than what we had on the cartoon, and same for Mo2 and stuff like that. So I do think it can vary between properties as well. I want a 2003 TMNT figures. Well, those honestly I think are pretty good figures even now. I think that the 2003 Turtles are good toys.
Yeah, they are.
Like, good washes, good paint applications.
And it's got a pretty deep bench too for the secondary characters.
Yeah, it went on for a while. Like, that's one that I don't even know if you would need like an updated modern kind of classics, ultimates, whatever version, because they're high. I mean, not highly articulated, but decently articulated.
Yeah.
The sculpting's good and the paint apps are good. And yeah, you have a bunch of characters. I don't know if it's that different from the vintage to what you can do today to warrant it, if that makes sense. And they're pretty big too. They're a larger scale figure, aren't they? Aren't they like 5?
Yeah, they're like, and they're a little bit chunkier. They're a little bit thicker in the shell.
Yeah. Let's see. Super 7 needs to make a multi-pack Mauser. I agree. You get the one Mauser with Baxter, and it's a cool Mauser, even though I wish it was a ball jointed head. It's just a cut joint. But yeah, absolutely. They'll do a multi-pack. There's no way. They'll do a Comic-Con thing or something. It's free money for them. They already have the tooling. So just put 5 in there. 2003 TMNT figures are great. Just wish they had better articulation. Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's true. That's true. I feel you there. And to keep an evolution of Turtles, because I have the Revoltech 2012 set. The Revoltech stuff was really cool. I pre-ordered that, and then I kind of chickened out just because of the price. I was like, it's really expensive for it. It's weird where I'm perfectly fine spending $300 on a Hot Toys figure, but something about the smaller scale, I'm just like, $80 for a 6-inch figure. I can't do it. I chickened out. You want to know where else I chickened out this past week, John?
Where?
Chickened out on the Crystal Skeletor. I didn't do it.
Oh no! And it's sold out.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with it. You got one, and it clearly did well enough. So the line's gonna. I didn't kill the line.
If you want to play with it, I'll bring it over.
I just want to look at it. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I just like I was amped, I was hyped when we did the show, and then we ended at like 10:30, and I think I just forgot about it. And the next day I was like, I guess I don't need it that much, and then it sold out that next day. So anyway, it's fine. I'm fine. I'm not upset. I promise. All right, John, what do you got?
All right. So one of my neighbors who I met at a HOA meeting.
Fun.
In talking, what do you do for a living? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And saying that I'm a toy dealer. And so my neighbor's wife like looked at me with like big wide eyes, and she's like, "This is what we've been looking for." Oh. So I know that they have 3 sons, around our age.
Okay.
And so that just, I'm like, "Oh," and I said, "Is it, you have like your son's toys?"
Yeah.
And her husband says, "No, it was my stuff." Oh. So I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay." So I went over yesterday, and he had it all like on a table, like a ping pong table in his garage. And it was everything from the 50s, a lot of stuff from the 50s through like the early 70s.
Oh, wow.
And there was some really cool stuff in there. So I took pictures of everything, and I went back with an offer. So I went back tonight shortly before we started and picked everything up.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't even have time to like take pictures because I boxed everything up at his house, and he's only like 3 houses down. So it was really easy. But then I unloaded the car, brought it up to my toy room, and I just grabbed a couple things.
Okay. All right.
So, obviously, like one thing everybody had, in the late 50s and early 60s, Tinker Toys.
Nice.
Awesome. And, on top of this one, he had like the bigger can. And then a couple sets of Lincoln Logs in that same style package. And then
any double telescoping Ben Kenobis in there?
No, sadly, no. It's older than all that.
Yeah. There's, for those who don't know, John and I have a toy dealer friend of ours that found a double telescoping Ben inside a Tinker Toy can at the market, and he spent pennies for the figure. And did very well for himself. We'll have to have him on. It's an amazing story. But anyways, keep going.
So even tin toys from Japan, like actual, not even like repro. Like every time I find tin toys from Japan, it's repro stuff. But this train, it's in absolutely amazing condition.
Whoa!
Like the litho on it, it's crazy how nice it is.
Yeah, it's not all kind of rusted out and gross.
There's no rust on it.
Wow.
And there's another one. It's a limousine.
Oh, that's so cool.
And everything has the made in Japan stamps and everything. It's all authentic. And it's in crazy, amazing condition.
Play with them as a kid? Holy moly.
He said he was like really gentle with everything, like the rubber tires aren't cracked. It's an amazing condition.
That's like 60 years old. Wow.
Yeah. And one thing that I was really excited about is, check this out. 1966 Batman sneakers.
Whoa. Oh my God. That's amazing.
Now, there's no sneakers in it. There's no sneakers in it.
Okay.
He just decided to keep the box. It had like a cutout Batman mask, and then like a fan club badge on the back of the box.
Oh, that is cool. Oh, that is neat.
So this one is staying with me.
Oh yeah, that one. That's a keeper right there.
But so that's like the really old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a ton of board games, like the very first edition of Mousetrap.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the one from Ideal, right?
Yes. Yep. Do you remember that, like the wooden labyrinth game came with like a little steel marble?
Yep.
There was one of those, the very first one from Sweden, still in the original box. And then, so I said his kids were our age, and then there was 5 carded Power Rangers aliens in there.
Wow.
All different ones. So I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, we used to, the kids were really into Power Rangers. So we used to get carded guys, and then they would get them as like treats, for good grades.
Yeah.
Or, doing, errands around the house or whatever the case. And then there was this other box. Sorry, this was all on the fly. And it's got a big crash test dummy.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And it's still in the JCPenney shipper box.
That's the shipper box?
Yeah. It's still got the JCPenney sticker on it.
If you're selling that, I may need to buy that from you. That's
yeah, it's for sale.
That is cool. I love the Crash Tummies toy line. That's a favorite. And it's still in the shipper box.
Yep.
So he ordered that off of JCPenney, and then
he had
put it away.
They got 2 of them. They just decided one got opened and one got put in a closet.
That's so cool.
Yep. So most of this collection is like the 50s, 60s stuff. There wasn't really any figures. There was a few cap guns. There was a Mattel cap gun that still has like the chest what do you call it? Holster, the chest wrap holster. And what else was in there? There's just so much stuff. All kinds. Electronic football, electronic basketball, like the college basketball.
I don't think I've ever seen the basketball one. I've seen 100 of the football ones with the like that.
Yeah. It's not the Mattel one. It's a different one. It's bigger.
Oh, okay.
I did look it up online. It goes for quite a bit of money.
All right. That's cool. That's a really fine. And the fact that it's like 3 doors down from your house.
Yeah. It was real surprise. I didn't think there would be so many things still in the original boxes.
Yeah. That's unreal. Because again, and you do this more than me, but I've had people like, oh, you collect toys? Can you come see what I got? And it's trash. Like it's just trash.
Beanie Babies.
Yeah, exactly. Cabbage Patch Kids are big, right? And like, maybe depends. Oh, rattied out ones? No, you
And the other thing I got this week, I sent you the picture, is I got a couple Spawn figures.
Oh yes, I didn't upload them, but
that's all right. And the Toy Biz Apocalypse Build-A-Figure, the black variant, he had like black limbs instead of the blue limbs. Have you ever seen that?
Yes. Yep. I have.
That was it this week.
Honestly, I think that's still the best Apocalypse, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, save for now with the Sentinel coming out, the super nice Sentinel, or the HasLabs one, I should say. Legends, in terms of a big Build-A-Figure, has not beaten or bested the best Toy Biz ones yet. So, I still think Galactus is the best Galactus. Well, I do think this one that they're doing with the Sentinel will beat the Legends ones. But other than that, I think the Toy Biz stuff still reigns supreme. I'm trying to upload your picture real quick. There it is. Okay, here we go. And boom. Yeah.
Yes. That was it. And then the 2 Spawn figures are identical. They're duplicates.
Well, because this guy buying them was big fans. Big fans.
Well, I bought them somebody posted them on eBay really, really cheap. And the quantity said 2, so I just put 2 in at that same price. And sure enough, they showed up. I was surprised. But those Spawn figures, I love them. I'm thinking about keeping one of them.
I mean, you have to. You might as well, right?
Yeah.
What's that sticker? Is that a GameStop or something sticker? What is that?
I think it is GameStop.
It has that look to it.
Yeah, it says $12.99. About 50 cents less than what I paid.
So it can be one of those ones because, again, if you sell vintage toys at toy shows or whatever, and if there's an old price tag on it, you'll hear it 8,000 times. It's like, oh, is it really selling for $4.99?
Yeah, it is $4.99, buddy. Leave the decimal.
Anyway, all right. That's a really cool haul. Like that train is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It's really cool.
Ross says, is anybody else superheroed out? I got rid of my entire Marvel collection, roughly 75 figures, 650 gone in one shot, no regrets. What about you, John?
I can say yes a little bit. I think it's starting to run its course. You know, there seems to be a lot of Marvel Legends coming out constantly.
Yep.
The only other side of that is I'm really into the McFarlane DC stuff. You know, I have a feeling. I do have a feeling I'll say, you know, it's enough of that because he's releasing and teasing waves. It seems like every 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's trying to do that because he only has the license for so long.
Is he not going to re-up it, or
I don't know if he has the option. You know, I'm sure he would love to since being successful, but it was only a 3-year contract, I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha. Okay. So he has the clock running against him. That's why. I kind of feel similarly where with Legends, I was getting all of them, but now I'm just like, okay, no, I'm just going to focus on the 90s X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And because I loved that cartoon show and what they're doing with those, they all look amazing. And now with the Sentinel, it's like, okay, I have a display, I have a diorama in mind, and that's what I'm just going to focus on, that one area, and that's it. And then sometimes like that has helped if it is kind of and there's just too much. And I've done similarly now with Star Wars. Like I'm just focusing on like Dave Filoni stuff. I have the vintage figures. That's if I'm going to do that. And then if I'm doing anything that's a modern toy, it's going to be for Clone Wars, Rebels, or Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not doing the HasLab. Even though they added more stuff, they added a Baby Yoda.
Yep.
Baby
and then
Yoda,
they teased the rest of the Carbonite prisoners.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah,
they got to reach 13,000, I think, and they were at 11 and change.
They're gonna get there. They still have like 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
Todd Smith would love a retrospective Kenner Superpowers line. Again, I feel like I want to do like a more in-depth video on it, but I really think Hasbro missed the mark with their Marvel retro line by not making it a Marvel Superpowers line. Mm-hmm. It would be so cool because I've got every Superpowers figure. The Blair's there, but I got every single one. Wouldn't it be cool to have another shelf of all Marvel ones that look just like the Superpowers ones? Way cooler. Better Feeling Films shares, I want to make a Spawn power countdown timer joke in reference to the McFarlane license, but I really can't. Yeah, I think I do love what, and I think probably what makes McFarlane exciting is Mattel had DC for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think DC Universe Classics was an amazing toy line.
Yes.
But eventually it did become a little bit outdated to still have that same style of book.
Mm-hmm.
15 years later, almost 20 years later. And with McFarlane, it's completely kind of different take. And it's exciting.
Yeah. The DC Classics are nice figures. They're very polished looking. Mm-hmm. And McFarlane stuff, you know, it's gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, I think it's helping it sell, even though it's a different scale completely than everything else.
Yes. Yep. Ross says, I picked up some Boglins with that money, more RGB. I care about that stuff more than the Marvel stuff. I feel you. I saw your Boglins pickup. If anyone wants to follow Ross on Instagram, I believe it's Thrift Store Keeper. And Ross probably type it in there and it'd be more. I think it's Thrift Store Keeper or Tales from the Thrift Keeper. Play on that. Anyway, he posts a lot of great finds, a lot of cool retro stuff. Definitely give him a follow. PD Dubs, are either of you guys going to hunt down all the BF parts for Venom Pool? How about you, John?
Nope, not a single one. Sorry.
Me neither. It's cool. Again, it's like where it's really cool. And I pre-ordered the Deadpool stuff because I love that movie. But even that came in, I was like, I'm good. I don't need it. I don't really have a display for it personally. Chris Penn, we need a Centurions line again. Shout out from the Dominican Republic. Nice show you guys have. Hey, Chris, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
From DR. Big fan of Fernando Tatis Jr., who wants to be the Derek Jeter for the Dominican Republic. But he's with the Padres. He's amazing. Anywho, Centurions, man.
We do need some Centurions love.
But you know,
they got to be that size.
Right, but these figures are great. Like, how do you make this better?
Just make more. They had the characters, you know, there was another 3 characters. There was a cybernetic tiger and like a shark thing.
Yep.
You know, it just gets missed out on.
Yeah, no, I agree. There is a lot there, but like, this is just one of those vintage figures where, to your point, yes, add more there, but like what they did, like, this is just, these are great. I'm still missing, what's his name? I'm blanking on it. Anyways, I'm missing one of the main guys. I have
Jake Rockwell.
Thank you, Jake Rockwell. Anywho, where are we at? Okay, let's talk about M.A.S.K and Transformers coming together. Oh crap, we only have like 10 minutes left. We're really quick, and then we'll play this clip from. We're just like talking, and we're like, this is a good question here, though. John, I'd love to see your collection also. Whenever you're,
yeah, I need to take some pictures and set them up.
No, this is what we need to do, John. Like, whenever you have it set up however you want it, because I know it's been a little bit in transition, but once you're ready, I will come and I'll film it, and we'll do like a tour, like an actual 4K tour of your toy room.
Yes,
that'd be cool. If you feel comfortable with cameras. But John's toy room's awesome. It's great. It's amazing. Big fan. Big fan. All right. Let's just quickly talk about this because we don't have enough time. We still want to share this clip from the Nate interview. But let me... Here's that. One, Princess Bride to McFarlane. It's interesting.
It is.
A lot of fans of Princess Bride. I wonder if this will do well.
I think it will. You know, I think it's along the same lines as you know, NECA doing any movie, you know, figure that's not necessarily horror, because that's definitely their niche.
Yep.
I think McFarlane will do a good job. I think they'll sell because it's such a cult. It has such a cult following.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. And their table read they did, their live one, was great. Like, Manny Patinkin brought it. Like, absolutely.
Really?
I don't know if you saw it, but yeah, he was just like all into it. He was in the, I'm Inigo Montoya. You can my father. It was great. It was fantastic. Highly recommend. But still, I think it's cool. I'm excited to see how that plays out. To your point, NECA has done a lot of the kind of retro films and bringing those figures back. I think what McFarlane has done lately has been really good. So yeah, excited to see what they do here. All right, next up, this is from Toy News International, toysnewseye.com. But it was really shared at the Transformers live stream for Hasbro. But we're getting some M.A.S.K in Transformers. Now, it's cool. They're up for pre-order right now. But we basically have a kind of a version of Stingray, which is a little bit of a stretch, I think, in my eye.
Yeah.
But the Hurricane does look pretty close to the Hurricane. I think it's called Windstorm, or Windstorm and Sting Racer. But my one problem with them is they're really tiny.
Yeah, they're mini bots. I mean, they really should have aimed for a Legends class at least, or
Yes.
Deluxe class.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like what it's like. Oh, it's right there. You're right there. Just right.
I know they're bothering to name them, close enough to the actual toy.
Yeah.
It's such a tiny little taste, It's like,
Right?
just go a little bit farther.
Commit. Quit teasing us, Hasbro.
They say they listen to the fans. They didn't listen enough.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
They're not even they're just like giving this little morsel, and they're not going all the way. So yeah, I think it's cool, but again, it's just like you're like this close, but you didn't nail it. You could have had a slam dunk, and you got a infield single.
I hope this isn't, like all that M.A.S.K that they've been talking about. Like, this M.A.S.K is coming. M.A.S.K is coming. They've been hyping it up, telling their investors, we got this new project, M.A.S.K. We're bringing it back. Here it is. It can fit in one hand.
Oh man! Oh, wait till you see what we got with M.A.S.K. Come on, man. Anyway, all right. Let's close out the show, and we'll come back on the other side of here. But did want to share another clip from our interview with Nate. This was around the Masters verse kind of 7-inch scale toy line. John asked this question, and then following up from that, digging into more of his work with the Four Horsemen. I think it's about 5 minutes. But yeah, let's play that real quick. I'm going to remove John and I from here. Hold on, I got to do that next. Here, and I got to hide us.
Comics on the He-Man comic at the time.
Yep.
In those early 2000s. So they kind of were loosely, apparently they were kind of fans of me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, way more fans of them than they were of me. But
Let me pull that back a little bit because I think removing me removed the audio. So let me pull it back. It's just gonna be a little bit small. I was trying to keep us as small as possible, but I guess it's not gonna let me do that. So let me pull back. What was it? 4212.
Or stuff. Are you involved in the packaging at all? We've seen the M.A.S.K packaging a little bit, and I was hoping, they would bring you on.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
No, that's a bummer.
And I honestly don't know if Axel's even involved in that. He might be. I kind of hope he is, but I don't know for sure.
Are the horsemen involved in that, or probably can't say if you do know?
If I do know, I can't say.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yep. Fair enough. How did you get involved with the horsemen? Because I feel like I don't know every detail of your history, but I feel like you've been working with them for forever, at least in my own mind.
So it goes back to me just being one of their fanboys. And, the 2000X days of, I remember meeting them. I want to say I met them way back in 2004. It was 2004. It was the first time I went to Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
I got their preview night because I had a pro pass.
Yep.
And I beelined it for their booth. I was just like, I don't care about what's going on. It's like, oh, there's some Star Wars thing that I probably should care about more, but I don't care. So I beelined it straight for Horseman booth and met Cornboy and met Eric. And so honestly, my first interactions with them was just kind of hanging out with them and talking with them at Comic-Con and geeking out about stuff. They also knew about me through He-Man.org in the forums because I would post fan art. Yep. They also knew about the work that I had done for Val with MV Creations Comics on the He-Man comic at the time.
Yep.
In those early 2000s. So they kind of were loosely, apparently they were kind of fans of me a little bit. I'm sure way more fans of them than they were of me. But then it was in 2007 when they did their FanX line and they were releasing the Ramathor figure, which was the big elephant guy for Kingdom. And one of the things they wanted to do was include more fan participation, which even extended into actually working on the property a little bit. In this case, it was the packaging.
Yeah.
And so they looked at that opportunity they used that opportunity to reach out to me to see if I would be interested in painting up a piece of art essentially for their packaging. And that was my first job with them. And then from there, it's honestly been, packaging art. I remember at another Comic-Con after that, I was talking with Eric and I just kind of loosely expressed that I would love to get into like more toy design kind of stuff. And Eric was just really cool about that. And it was shortly after that I get a phone call of like, hey, what do you think for this Masters of the Universe Classics line? What do you think Tila should look like? And so I sat down and I drew like
Green Goddess. No.
I did a variant of the Green Goddess. Here we go back again. But yeah, I did Tila. I based it off Mark Taylor's sketches. There were a lot of things I had done, and I thought back then as I was designing her, I was thinking of her as like an ultimate figure of like how easy it would be to swap out parts to create filmation versions of her, the mini comic versions of her, the Green Goddess version of her, and so on. So, and then they've kept me busy ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And if I can't work on more Masters of the Universe stuff for Mattel, actually, it's only because I'm doing some really fun stuff with the Horsemen.
Yeah, I mean, the Super 7 TMNT Ultimate stuff is again last week it was like the M.A.S.K reveal. Like I was just like, this is amazing. It was a really heavy, just like out of nowhere, amazing toy stuff last.
Isn't that line nuts? Isn't that wave in particular? Like Muckman.
I mean, they've all been great. They've all been great, but that wave, just like Mondo Gecko, Muckman, Casey Jones, Donut, like it's a real. It's almost good. It's just like, what do they have after this? You know?
Not even seeing Muckman in person on our last show. me and Jay said, this is figure of the year, and we haven't even seen it in person yet.
I know. Just based on the pictures, like this is definitely going to be, at least I would think in the running for figure of the year, because I think what they've done really well, like even more so, because I've always felt like TMNT is just kind of like a descendant of Motu in kind of a way, but
absolutely, and it has the heritage behind that.
Yeah,
Taylor and he's not the only one. I want to say there are other people connected in there, but yeah.
And you can see that influence for sure. But like to walk us through, was that a difficult transition of being? And we're back. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that extra clip from our interview with Nate Baertsch. Again, great conversation. Had a lot of fun chatting with him about his work on the incredible artwork for the Masters of the Universe Origins Castle Grayskull. If you want to see like really detailed 4K images, watch the other clips I posted on Geek Dad Life on the channel on Friday. And then if you want to hear the full over hour interview that we did with Nate, head over to our audio podcast feed. If you haven't subscribed already, definitely subscribe and definitely check out the full interview. Had a great time with him. All right, John, anything else before we close out the show today?
Well, next week. Oh, did we want to talk about that?
Yes. Okay. Next week is last weekend before Halloween, right? I think
maybe, or close enough.
Because Halloween's on a Saturday this year, I'm pretty sure. So next Sunday's episode will be the last episode before Halloween, and we want to. What do we want to?
Let's list our top 5 favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily Halloween figures, because most action figures that are Halloween are horror movie related.
Sure.
So let's just say whatever your Halloween, figures are, because not everybody equates a horror figure to a Halloween figure.
Correct.
But if in the world of figures, they kind of cross over naturally.
This could be Scareglow's definitely up there as a Halloween figure, right?
Yeah, he looks like a Ben Cooper costume come to figure form. So I think, whatever our own, ideas are of a top 5 list of Halloween figures. And anybody in the comments, let us know your top 5 as well.
Yep. So yes, we haven't done a list show in a while. I think this will be a lot of fun. So John and I will each do a top 5 list. And yes, you at home, if you're listening to the audio version of this, send in your list to toygeeksshow@gmail.com or in the live chat. You can share it there as well. So let's have some Halloween fun next week, John. John, are we dressing up next week for Halloween? Do you have any costumes laying around home you could probably
I really don't. That's I could I don't know. I'll shave off my beard and leave big chops and come as Quint.
There you go. Sam Quint.
Sam Quint, yeah.
So definitely excited for that. Should be a lot of fun. Scareglow for the win, says Master Hoarder. Tree Shaker, oh hell yes, next week will be lots of fun. Indeed. So look forward to that. Finishing up the chat here. Let's see. Back to the McFarlane doing Princess Bride figures. Better Feeling Films. I want a Fred Savage in bed with Columbo 2-pack. Absolutely.
Yep.
It's a Comic-Con exclusive.
It has to happen.
And here's the thing. Like, in that scene, there's so many action figures and stuff just strewn about, like He-Man, Transformers and stuff. Like, include those.
Yeah. Well, you could always make it with those world's smallest ones that are coming out now. You fill up your own diorama.
Yes. Agreed. Ross, back to, I think, the Toy Room collection thing. Jay is one of the best collections I've ever seen. Everything I like, Jay has. Don't sell your own collection short, Ross.
Jay has an amazing collection. Amazing.
That I've bought pretty much from you. I'm fortunate to have a wife that lets me do it. Yes, I will say, if you want to get the best deals or whatever, start just setting up at toy shows, and then that way you'll be there before everybody else.
You get the early bird special.
Early birds. And again, I think be patient. This is 20-something years of collecting toys and hoarding toys. So don't necessarily know if that's a good thing or not. And then Mariano, I collect TF, but I'm not interested in this subline very much. Oh, back to the M.A.S.K crossover. Yeah, it's just kind of like,
yeah. I feel the same.
Master Order says that must be Hasbro. Indeed. Or has Louis says such a half-ass job by Hasbro. I agree. Ross says, Jay, is your RGB collection complete? No, I believe it or not, I do not have a complete vintage real Ghostbusters collection in hand. Now, I don't necessarily know if I want to have a complete vintage real Ghostbusters. There's a few that, again, like maybe I'll have most, but not all. I'm kind of the same way with it's not going to pull through. But I'm kind of the same way with Masters of the Universe. There's just some figures like I just don't like them, so I don't need them, you know. And same thing for Ghostbusters. A few I'm just like, but I have most, and I have all the Ecto Glows, but not all of them complete. So there's still a few things I'm still looking to actually complete. And same for TMNT. Like I have most of what I cared about as a kid, but then I don't care about Scratch or Hotspot or any of those because I just was done with that line by then. So I'm good. But a few that I do want complete. I have a complete Superpowers collection. I want a complete Kenner Star Wars. But that's about it as far as completest, because it's a slippery slope. So I really try to limit myself there. Ross says, I'm going after all the ghosts only. Yeah, the ghosts are great. Again, I have most of the ghosts, but there's a few I just don't have room to display them all. So I have most of the Gooper ghosts, not all. But yeah, it's hard. And for me too, it's about like, how does it display? Is it a compelling display? And one of the problems I had for a long time with Kenner's Real Ghostbusters in terms of my display is it's a lot of reuse of the same 5 characters over and over and over again. And like, how do you display that in a compelling way? Because I don't like, save for Superpowers and Kenner's Star Wars, I prefer to have it like diorama kind of style where it's a scene. And again, so I think I finally have cracked my Real Ghostbusters display, but I'll share that next week on the show because we ran out of time today. And then Tree Shaker, might be getting Firehouse and Ecto 1 for my cousin because he's cleaning out his parents' garage. Fingers crossed.
Oh, good luck.
Good luck. That's a good find. Am I into vintage G.I. Joe? Absolutely. It's covered up with stuff right now, but yeah, I've got a USS Flag. I've got a bunch of the planes. I've got Terradrome. It's tucked under there behind the Eternia. Love vintage Joe. And yeah, I have a 7.5 foot ship that takes up.
You could probably squeeze in a Defiant in there.
No way. So my original thought was, when I was speccing this out, was Flag and then Terradrome back there, and then Defiant were the Jurassic Park compound display or command center. And I thought that was enough space, but then I measured out the Defiant, not even close to enough space. So the door wouldn't even open. So it's just, so it is a little unnerving to me that my original intent was the whole floor level was going to be G.I. Joe. But it's just, it's fine. So I have the Jurassic Park command center there on the bottom. So anyway, all right. That's where we're ending. Next week, Halloween episode. Be there or be square. And John, thank you again for hanging out with me tonight. I always enjoy Sunday nights.
Thank you.
special time to hang and talk toys. And thank you to everybody in the chat as well that watches this live on youtube.com/geekdadlife at 9 p.m. And for those listening at home or on their iPods, do people even have iPods anymore? Their iPhones, wherever they listen to podcasts these days. And we will see you all next week. Until then, hasta luego and goodbye.